Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Good evening, Descendants and Zombies universe. I'm your host of this show, Jonathan Clarke, your voice of Descendants and Zombies. So proud to say we have over 2,800 subscribers officially. Just moments ago, a girl hit the subscribe button for 2,800 subscribers officially, and I just want to say thank you from my heart to yours for making this happen. This didn't happen because a guy just woke up one day and decided he was going to upload Descendants and Zombies videos. This happened because so many wonderful people saw the potential and the creative energy behind these videos and fell in love with my direction for Descendants and Zombies in the direction that I wanted to take it in. I wanted to create videos for you guys that you would love, that you would know the guy hosting the show loved Descendants and Zombies just as much as each and every one of you did. I never ever thought this YouTube channel would explode in popularity the way that it has, and I'd be sitting here with over 57,000 channel views, which also happened this morning. So a lot of key things happened today. Over 2,800 subscribers officially have come in, and over 57,000 channel views as of this morning. Thank you guys so much for that. We're approaching 60,000 channel views, and that's really hard for me to believe, because 25 years after my career had surpassed me, all I ever wanted was a second chance to be heard. I wanted to be heard again so my legacy would never fade off into obscurity, because that was always my greatest fear. I believe the greatest honor that somebody can have is leaving a legacy behind them for their contributions. And I like to believe that I contributed something to the Descendants and Zombies universe. No matter how small of a contribution it was I would have made to the Descendants and Zombies universe in the way of commentaries, which I think a lot of people really do love. I wanted to know that I did leave something behind in the way of a legacy, and I would go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time. That's why I say the song Legends in the Making makes me think about my own life and really helped me put the broken pieces of my heart back together. After so many times in my career, I would be talking about different niches on YouTube that really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to a whole lot of people. You guys accepted me, you saw a hero of me when nobody else did, and you gave me the honor of being your voice of Descendants and Zombies, and it's been that way ever since. I am incredibly excited about Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland next summer. I'm literally counting down the hours, the minutes, and the seconds to Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland, even though it seems like forever away. I am really excited to see where we go from here with the plot. I am also really excited to see where we go from here with Zombies 5, because we have yet of a story to be seen between Victor and Nova, which is going to be an incredible story, and a very powerful time for every person who ever said they were a fan of zombies. I will forever and always miss Zed and Addison, though. I have to be honest with each and every one of you because of how much they offered to the Zombies franchise and how much it meant to them. We as fans can somewhat feel sympathetic towards Zed and Addison because it meant so much to us too. I mean, Zombies and Descendants, we saw our lives through the eyes of these characters, and we saw ourselves because of our personal experiences that we may have encountered throughout our lifetime through the eyes of these characters, and we saw ourselves in the same kind of positions. You know, I can't even tell you how many times I thought of myself and my own relationship every single time I saw Zed and Addison, because of how powerful it was. And from the very first moment I saw these two characters, I knew they were going to go down in history for being a power couple for Disney Channel. And they most certainly did. If not a power couple for Disney Channel, definitely one of the most revered in the history of Disney Channel. Because you talk about all these power couples like Gabriella Montez and Troy Bolton, or other power couples we have seen through the years, Jake and Hannah Montana, but no power couple has ever left an impression like Zed and Addison did. And I give Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheimer found them a credit for bringing these characters to life in a way that nobody else would have ever been able to do it. I would imagine they went through 500 different auditions before they narrowed it down to who was going to play the roles of Zed and Addison. And forever and always, those characters will hold a special place in their hearts just as they will all of ours. And it's been the greatest honor of my life being able to follow their story and commentate for it on you for what feels like forever. You know, it's been an incredible 10-year journey on this YouTube channel for me, and all I ever wanted was for a niche to accept me and to give me a second chance at my career, because I never thought my voice would ever be heard again. Thank you guys so much for opening up your hearts to me and giving me a chance, really taking a chance on me, because one of the greatest challenges as a YouTube creator is uploading a video that will attract a specific niche. And every single night, at least one of the 4 videos that I upload every single day, 3 to 4 videos, is finding its way out into the YouTube algorithm, and that says a lot. It says that people love these videos. People see themselves through the eyes of their favorite characters, Zed, Addison, Red, Chloe, whoever. and you love the videos and you see the value behind these videos. Because while people will upload these reaction videos about Zombie Swore Down to the Vampires, and I've seen quite a few of them. I've seen about 100 reaction videos about music videos and specific scenes and key moments in Zombies 4. It really upsets me because I don't think there is the passion and the pride that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies coming from these videos. If you're going to talk about Descendants of Zombies and review it, then talk about Descendants of Zombies and review it. Just don't pick your favorite moments or rank your favorite songs from top to bottom without any explanation offered whatsoever. And for the life of me, if you don't understand what a Daywalker and a Nightwalker really is, then why are you talking about Zombie Swore Down to the Vampires, much less claiming that you're the biggest Descendants of Zombies fan in the world? You know, having a lot of merchandise as your backdrop for your YouTube videos really doesn't prove a whole lot, because I really believe there's a passion and a pride that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies. And while Zed and Addison may be your favorite characters, why are Zed and Addison your favorite characters? Well, Zed and Addison are my favorite characters because they had a dream. This all started with a dream of acceptance and hope and second chances representing for anybody through the powerful story that they represented and carried with them from Zombies movie to Zombies movie as a part of a phenomenal trilogy which eventually had a fourth installment years later after a 3-year hiatus. And it came back in such a powerful way. Introducing vampires into the franchise not only allowed us to see a supernatural creature premiere in Zombies that we had never seen before, but also allowed us the opportunity to be introduced to characters that would carry on the legacies of Meg Donnelly and Mila Manheim, who are now executive producers. I really appreciate how they want to be producers of this franchise and really offer more creative incentive, direction, and creative energy, which I'm really excited about. You know, it's interesting because I always wanted to be the producer of Zombies because Zombies was a very appealing script to me. I was almost instantly attracted to it for how unpredictable it was, how fun it was on times, how many characters we saw see their introduction into it, the twists and the turns, the relationship between Zed and Addison would take on times, and we're going to see even more twists and turns with the relationship between Victor and Nova as we see Zed and Addison's moments portrayed through their eyes. And I think they're going to do a fabulous job carrying on the legacies that these two characters have left behind for the Zombies franchise that will forever and always mean so much to their legacies. You know, I don't really have a favorite moment from Zombies or Descendants because all the moments have meant so much to me and have allowed me to really put the broken pieces of my heart back together so many times. But I think one of my favorite moments, if I had to pick one moment from the Zombies franchise, was the final kiss share between Zed and Addison, because that was that moment where they said, "I love you." And that was really what I was waiting on and hoping to see evolve from the Zombies franchise to happen, really. Because I knew going into it they were going to say, "I love you." Originally it was supposed to be Victor and Nova who were going to say, "I love you," and share a kiss, but they cut the scene out of it. So that was one of those deleted scenes that I guess we will never see because of their age. And I think that was a huge decision to put that responsibility on Zed and Addison, I guess because of the moments they had forever created for Descendants of Zombies fans. I think that these were two characters that everybody just instantly fell in love with. They had no issues with them. Of course, everybody has a critic out there, so Meg Donnelly was subjected to a lot of criticism for her portrayal of her character Addison, how she wanted to be captain of the cheerleading squad, how she wanted to go on to get a cheer scholarship, and how Meg Donnelly really became one of the most inspirational characters of all time. That's why she received so much criticism. I think it had a lot to do with jealousy, but I want to put it out there that Meg Donnelly was a real inspiration to a lot of people. And I think a lot of people saw themselves through the eyes of Meg Donnelly and drew inspiration from her character, because I think more people now are even signing up for their own cheerleading squads at school. People are signing up for the swim team. I would go as far to say that because of how big of a shape Meg Donnelly is in now, people are even signing up for the gym now because Meg Donnelly is in the best shape of her life. And I've never seen her put off better performances than what she's putting off now as the Addison character. So I think it's a surefire indication that Meg Donnelly has a very bright future ahead of her, and I look forward to covering it. I've loved Meg Donnelly from the very first moment I saw her. I have nothing but good things to say about her, and I think that herself and Mila Manheim done a fabulous job bringing these characters to life. Because I don't think anybody who was ever a critic on YouTube ever thought that Zombies would amount to anything. But I always had hope for this franchise from the very first moment I saw it back in 2018. It was in February of 2018 this franchise premiered, and nobody ever thought it would become something so special that it did. But it did because it touched our hearts. And I think it's of extreme rarity when franchises touch our hearts. I mean, it's been years since a franchise such as High School Musical has happened for the Disney Channel. And I think now Descendants of Zombies is something that has really been able to do that in such a profound way, and will go down in history for being one of the greatest franchises of all time to do that, and it shows. I mean, you guys are incredibly supportive of this franchise. If you weren't incredibly supportive of this franchise, you wouldn't be watching this video. You wouldn't have subscribed to this YouTube channel over 2,800 times. But because you're incredibly supportive of it and you love it so much, you have subscribed to this channel over 2,800 times, and I can't even begin to put into words how I feel about having over 2,800 subscribers on this YouTube channel. I don't deserve to be in your presence because it's such a huge honor. That's why I say it's such a huge honor to talk about Descendants of Zombies, because there is a certain pride that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies. You know, from the very first moment I saw the Zombies franchise and that opening dance number, "This is going to be my year," I knew Zombies was going to be something special because of the enthusiasm, because of the vibe that you got from the music. The first soundtrack that was released for Zombies may have not had really key songs on the soundtrack, but that one song, "This is going to be my year," was an indication that it was going to be something special. Then by Zombies 2, songs like "We Own the Night," "Somewhere I Belong," which was the first moment that Zed and Addison broke up. You know, this is why I say it's really hard for me to pick between my favorite Descendants of Zombies moments, because there are so many of them. The very first moment that Mel arrived at Oradon Prep was a significant moment in time because she was trying to figure out her place in the world. That could be my favorite moment. Or when Zed and Addison met in the zombie safe zone for the first time and just bumped into each other mysteriously without any explanation and just fell in love instantly after Addison realized how a zombie was struggling to achieve acceptance. Because that's what Descendants of Zombies has always represented. A person's struggles in life, a person's desire to achieve acceptance because of peer pressure, because of bullying they may be encountering, or some other situation that's unknown to all of us. The thing is, Zombies and Descendants is related to so many people of not just one age demographic. There are people up to 25 years old who are still intrigued by Zombies who can remember watching it when they were 7 years old. I watched Zombies for the first time when I was 26 years old. I had a lot going on in my own life. My dad had just passed away, so I was looking for incentive and motivation to create videos on YouTube. And Descendants of Zombies allowed me to find that purpose and gave me the honor to meet each and every one of you who were dealing with your own personal struggles that related to Descendants of Zombies, who saw yourself through the eyes of your favorite characters, Red, Chloe, Addison, Zed, whoever. And for whatever reasons that you were a fan of Descendants of Zombies, I just wanted to support that. And I wanted to show up as one of the biggest fans of Descendants of Zombies and just not claim that I was a fan of Descendants of Zombies. Because if I've said I've watched Descendants of Zombies over 100 times, you had better believe that I've watched Zombies over 100 times. Because it is such a powerful movie. I think that there are so many moments in Zombies history, like the moment they broke up, because I think a lot of people thought that probably a new storyline was going to be created by Zombies 3. Probably in Zombies 3, they wouldn't get back together until Zombies 3 would happen, and the breakup would carry over. Because this was the first time that it happened. Of course, Zombies was just a way of introducing us to the characters and what the franchise was going to be all about, so no breakups and no confliction happened. Zed zombied out, I believe, in the first one. Addison helped them discover his true identity. And then throughout every movie of the Zombies, Addison tried to figure out what her place in the world was by discovering her origin as an alien, discovering her origin as possibly a werewolf by Zombies 2. I think a lot of people thought that vampires would see their introduction into the franchise ever before aliens, because I think that would have made a whole lot more sense by Zombies, probably Zombies 2 vampires would have showed, or Zombies 2 aliens would have showed up, and then by Zombies 3 probably vampires or something. I don't know. But I think a lot of people thought that probably vampires would have showed up long before now. Probably showed up before aliens. And that's coming from a guy that's watching way too many alien documentaries on YouTube for his entire life. And I really do believe, if you ask me my opinion, I really do believe that we could be subjected to an alien invasion at any given moment, especially with this new alien probe story that I've been following. In less than 100 days, it is supposed to arrive on Earth and kill us all. But the way I look at it is, if there is an alien probe on the way to Earth to kill us all, I just want to put it out there that there is no other niche that I would rather die with than the niche of Descendants of Zombies, because their love is unconditional, and they will forever and always support you. Even when you think you're lost at any given moment, they are always your light out of darkness, and they help you make sense of everything, and I can never say thank you enough to each and every one of you enough for that, because I was just a commentator uploading videos on YouTube talking about video games and movies, and I wasn't really attracting a specific niche. I wasn't attracting, say, the Twilight Saga fans. I wasn't attracting the Vampire Diaries fans. I wasn't attracting fans of PlayStation and Nintendo. And so this niche was an opportunity for me to reach out to a new audience. and be received in a way that I've never been received before. This is the greatest honor of my life and the most fun that I've had talking about my life to each and every one of you that relates to Descendants and Zombies. You know, next month is Halloween. I will have a lot of zombies videos throughout the month of October, and there will be a lot of key moments that we'll talk about in the history of Descendants, like the birthdays of Ruby Rose Turner and Freya Sky, which happened 24 hours apart from one another. Ruby Rose Turner's birthday happens on October 16th. Freya Sky's birthday will happen on October 17th, and we will celebrate every moment leading up to the premieres of these movies, and I will continue to carry on the legacies of the Descendants and Zombies franchises. Because while other YouTube creators on YouTube will try to discourage your hopes and dreams of Descendants and Zombies lasting eternally, I am doing the absolute best that I can to encourage your hopes and dreams of these franchises lasting for forever. You know, just because the Worlds Collide Tour wraps up on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday next week, does not mean that we won't see a sequel tour, because there is a rumor going around online that there will be a sequel tour as early as next summer. While that can't be confirmed, it's still out there. It's still open to happen. So I would love for it to happen, because I want to encourage everybody's hopes and dreams that ever saw themselves through the eyes of their favorite Descendants and Zombies characters. And I've got a lot of favorite Descendants and Zombies characters. Of course, Dove Cameron's portrayal of Mel was one that really captivated me, and I felt inspired by it, because she just wanted to be something far greater than her mother ever wanted for her to achieve. The same thing with Kylie Cantrell. But the thing that separates Kylie Cantrell and Dove Cameron so much is that Kylie Cantrell showed up. And what I mean by when she showed up, she really showed up. And she represented the Descendants franchise in a way that I don't think anybody ever has represented the Descendants franchise, and really carried on the legacies of the stars of the past who just pretty much closed the door on Descendants and said they would never be reprising the roles, because doing it with a Cameron voice just didn't make a whole lot of sense or didn't feel right. I think that Cameron Boyce, I will forever and always believe that Cameron Boyce would have wanted his legacy to live on through another chapter of Descendants always being written, and new characters. The rise of Red and this happening for Descendants is what Carlos would have wanted, what Cameron Boyce would have always wanted to achieve for Descendants. And because these characters are living on vicariously through his memory, that's because his legacy will live on eternally in all of our hearts, and we will never ever forget him. And because of shows like this on YouTube, that will forever and always honor him, because I always made a solemn vow to each and every one of you. I promised you at least one Descendants and Zombies video every day, and if not that, a tribute video for Cameron Boyce, so his legacy would live on through me. And if there's one guy on YouTube that his legacy is going to live on through, if not Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, who he's really good friends with, it will be this guy here. Because we will honor his birthday, we will honor the passing of Cameron Boyce every single year with tribute videos and occasional Cameron Boyce mentioning in these videos, because I think there's no better way or more powerful way of representing the franchise than by supporting it by being here to talk about your favorite moments from the original trilogy, or The Rise of Red, or Zombies, because there's still so much of a story yet to be told. While critics will always try to shut the door, wishing that the Descendants and Zombies movies would stop production, I'm here to encourage that we go on with this for forever, because this is a journey that I've been on. I really found myself through the power of Descendants and Zombies, through the music, the powerful script, because oftentimes when the script had really high emotions and they couldn't tell the story through the power of the script, they went to the music. And that's why the soundtracks for Descendants are so revered and so popular. Songs like Life is Sweeter When You Are, Red, If Only, Space Between, Ways to Be Wicked, Rotten to the Core. Because I remember when Rotten to the Core premiered years ago, it was the opening dance number of the original Descendants movie to introduce us to the VK kids. Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, Mal and Evie, Cameron Boyce, of course Carlos, the son of Cruella de Vil. I mean, they were powerful characters, and they were meant to leave an impression on all of our hearts, and they most certainly did. And by Descendants 2, the music ultimately got better. Songs like Ways to Be Wicked, Space Between, really brought the franchise to life in a way that I don't think anybody ever expected it to. Because going into Descendants' premiere on July 31st, 2015, nobody had the highest expectations for Descendants and Zombies until the first reviews of the first Descendants movie received over 100 million streams. Once they realized the first Descendants movie had been watched over 100 million times on Disney+, Descendants 2 came into the fold. And once Descendants 2 premiered, the music got better, the story was way more deeper, way more emotional, and more storylines were presented. And because more storylines were presented, although they were never followed through with, by Descendants 3 they closed the barrier, I think there's always an opportunity to tell a new story. for whatever franchise you're talking about, Descendants or Zombies, because you're never going to run out of supernatural creatures. You're never going to run out of a moment where you can tell a new storyline. Just because Red has a new sister coming into Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland, by the time Wicked Wonderland happens and premieres next summer, that's a storyline in its own right. That's a 90-minute production right there. The story between Red and her sister. And it presents an opportunity for Red and Pink to tell their own story about how they're sisters and how they never saw eye to eye on times. And it's also an opportunity for Pink to really tell her own story. I look forward to seeing Limani Segura coming into the Descendants franchise to see how this sets up for a possible passing of the torch moment from Red and Chloe to Pink so she can go on to achieve her own legacy, because I think she has a very promising future with the Descendants franchise and the Disney company. Just as I believe that all the girls on Disney Channel, who I've been really big fans of over the years, have very promising futures because they were so talented. And that means Peyton List, Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, even Demi Lovato, with how much criticism she received years ago. I was really riding high on these stars. And I was always forever a fan of them, and I was always incredibly supportive of them because I saw the good in them when a lot of people just chose to criticize what was happening because, of course, they were attached to the Disney label. But just because they were attached to the Disney label did not mean they deserved criticism. You know, for the life of me, I don't know why Kylie Control is wasting her tears because of these critics, about how her political point of view had been dragged into a conversation, how her relationship took a turn for the worse. Just because her relationship took a turn for the worse does not mean Kylie Control deserves to be reviewed the way she's being reviewed. The critics really need to back off Kylie Control and just give her some space and give her a chance. I mean, look at how phenomenal she's been performing for the Worlds Collide Tour, night in and night out. They have 5 shows left. In the next 5 nights, we'll see the conclusion, the grand finale being reached for the Worlds Collide Tour. And this is really a moment in history because they did it. And when the realization sets in, they did it, they are going to be filled with emotion and they are going to explode. They're going to break down with tears. I would love to be there and backstage when the final production sees its conclusion because it's going to be dramatic. And I would just love to be there just to see their expressions, the feeling in the room, the vibe that you would get. It's really a moment in time because it's a part of history. It's about being a part of history. And that's what these stars have become, a part of, is history because of all of us. Because they're just stars. They're just people. We made them into celebrities. And we have every reason to be proud of ourselves because we saw the good in someone like Kylie Control. Years ago, ever before the thought of a Descendants and Kylie Control being the red character was ever in the minds of writers and producers at Disney, I remember watching Kylie Control on her YouTube show. And I remember being a big fan of her because she would review all my favorite Disney shows and Nickelodeon shows like Sam and Cat and Victorious, which, if many of you remember me from over a decade ago, I was a huge fan of. I could never say enough good things about Ariana Grande and Jeanette McCurdy because they had such promising futures with Nickelodeon. And when that show announced its cancellation, I was heartbroken over it. So after I heard Kylie Control dropping review after review about iCarly, Sam and Cat, Victorious, I became a fan of her. And I've been incredibly supportive of her ever since. So when I see her cry on TikTok videos, which nobody has any business to make Kylie Control cry to make themselves feel good, it really breaks my heart. And I think that never enough support can be shown to Kylie Control. I just want to take a moment to say, Kylie Control, man, I love you to death. I think you are a beautiful person. You are a true inspiration to a lot of people. And it shows because over 2,800 people have subscribed to this YouTube channel and saw the good in me and took a chance on me when nobody else ever could throughout my career. I want you guys to know this show will forever and always be here for you guys. I've got one more video, one final video to drop between now and sunset, which I hope you will join me for. And we will once again talk about Descendants of Zombies because I have a lot to say where these two franchises go. Because you should never quit on a dream that starts with your heart. You should never quit on hope. You should never quit on finding true love because it can happen for you. If it can happen for Zed and Addison right before Zed was about to zombie out in Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires and they realized they wanted nothing more than to spend the rest of their lives together, then it can happen for each and every one of you. And I firmly believe that. And I want you to hold on to that belief. While other YouTube creators out there will say such nonsense like forever doesn't exist and happily ever after was just something for a fairy tale, I think that they just pretty much don't understand the power of Descendants of Zombies and the profound impact it's had on all of our hearts. That's why we're together. That's why we're friends for forever. Because if we're going down together as fans of Descendants of Zombies. And I will forever and always be supportive of the franchises that have meant so much to you guys because I know how much these stars and these franchises mean to you. That's why I can create hundreds of videos on Descendants of Zombies and see no problem with it or have no issues with it. Because I love it just as much as each and every one of you. I remember the premieres of Descendants of Zombies years ago. 2015 was the year of my life. 2018 was the year of my life. Because I got introduced to characters portrayed by Meg Donnelly and Dove Cameron, Addison and Mel. Beautiful characters that really helped me put my life into perspective. I can't lie about that. I love Descendants of Zombies just as much as each and every one of you do. While I don't have the merchandise in front of me, I have a beautiful YouTube set, and I have the most supportive fans in the entire world. Because I don't need merchandise to say I'm the biggest fan of Descendants of Zombies. I just need you guys to support me by hitting the like button and subscribe buttons for however many times you do. And it happened because you saw the good in me when nobody else did. Thank you so much for just being here and being a fan of Descendants of Zombies like you are. I've got so much more to say and get into about Descendants of Zombies. We will do this in just a couple of hours from now, right before sunset. Be sure to join me for that upcoming video. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I can't forget to mention that because we are now on the road officially to over 3,000 subscribers from my heart to yours. Thank you so much for giving me this chance. I love you guys so much, man. Stay calm and zombie on. We will talk again in just a few hours from now.